Top of the day to you on this inspirational journey. As we journey to and fro upon this earth, I pray that all has been well. I am that reporter reporting to you the way, truth, and life because life be lifing. So, what happened to Monday? What's the word? Have you heard? Sex ed. Teaching effective sex education, respecting boundaries, and growing up with wisdom. We had to put a little clause in the title because we weren't allowed to make it through. So I hope that you get what I'm saying when it comes to you having, understanding about our bodies, the relationships, and responsibilities, and about sex health. It is normal, part of our learning. Okay, so we all come from different, diverse backgrounds and experiences. So it's about truth, not fear, wisdom, not shame, clarity, and not confusion. So, sex education is not about encouraging sex, it's about preventing harm, building wisdom, and helping people grow with confidence instead of confusion. Because we are always encouraging people to be abstinent. There's nothing wrong with being abstinent until you find that right one. It helps you out in the long run. But just in case you can't wait, pay attention. Hopefully, we can lead and guide you in protecting yourself and also others. So, your body is very valuable. Your choices matter. You deserve respect, safety, and clarity. So we're talking about the anatomy. Anatomy, you will find the word mostly whenever you learn biology. So biology is the anatomy of our body. We're learning what's inside your body and how the body is built. What each part is called and how everything works together. So growing up, understanding our body and learning, we can like take care of it and how we can respect it and make wise, safe, respectful choices whenever we think about ourselves and whenever we think about others. So as you begin to understand more so about your body, the body go through changes and it go through different stages of puberty. Mainly you hear puberty when it comes to boys and girls as we grow up. So growing up, we're gonna experience changes. Social, emotional, physical change. Our body is developing. Our emotions are stronger and we are learning who we are. Now, some of us need a refresher course. So if you think that this is a little bit too low, but also you can pay attention. That way you can pass on generation to generation just to help some people not go through what you went through or we went through. Okay. So they can navigate through this world a little bit better than you did. And they won't make the same mistakes that you have. So if you have sisters and brothers, children, pass this word on. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and make sure you share. So growing up, we came from wee wee pee pee to Pussy in Boots and Moby Dick. So the girls ranges between 8 and 13, common 10 and 11 whenever we begin to develop like breast development, growth spurts, body odor, mood changes, menstrual cycles and periods. And with the boys, their ranges between 9 and 14, common between 10 and 12, your testicle growth, deeper voice later on, body odor, and growth spurts. But even so, everyone develops at their own pace. Starting early or some start late is still normal. So puberty is not a competition. Your body changes not to determine your maturity, but it's respecting our own body and other bodies is essential. All right. So some people, you know, even though we may be the same age, we can be in total different type of stages. And both of these stages are normal, even though we are the same age. All right. It all depends on like genetics, nutrition, stress level, overall health, family history. And then we get into hygiene because you know what? Hygiene matters. Hand wash, the soap and water. especially before like eating and after using the restroom. Because if not, guess what? You lick your booty and your cootie. All right. Especially when you go to McDonald's and eat them fries, you're going to do it. All right. So make sure hygiene matters. Bathing and showering to remove dirt, sweat, microbes from the skin. Hair and nails care. It's like it kind of like limits the accumulation of dirt and pathogens, because when you touch things, you get things under your nails. All that matters when it comes to you being ill or you passing whatever on to others. So wherever you have hair on your body, guess what? Hair carries odor. So make sure you pick the right deodorant as you grow up. You begin to smell a little fresh or a little different. And sometimes, it may come off with funky sweet. So make sure not to get all those different perfume deodorants thinking that would make you feel good, especially, if you don't take a bath. All right. So a good deodorant I want to suggest is Mitchum. If you got sensitive underarms, it will help with sensitive underarms, and it's a good deodorant, and it's good for the last. And then sometimes if you need to get some of that hair under your arm, have your sister and brother, your parents or whatever, to teach you how to shave properly. Practicing gentle genitals, washing, hand washing, and proper menstrual care, it reduces bacterial spread risk, and it supports health overall. Okay, and it helps with your well-being. So when you brushing and you're flossing to reduce bacteria, also during oral genital contact, this is very good that you have to do all these things. So this is part of your hygiene, and it really matters, because little do you know your mouth is connected to your anus. Okay, so therefore whatever goes in, it comes out. So therefore it means that it goes through the body. So you definitely have to pay attention about your body and your health, and definitely take care of it. So what about your body image? So negative body image can lead to anxiety. So don't be trying to body shame people, because we all have something that's different about us. All right. Or a little defect about us somewhere. All right. So depression, it avoids if you learn to understand about, when people do negative body image, how you can, come off on others and what it can create for them: anxiety, depression, avoidance of behaviorism and unhealthy coping mechanisms and different strategies that a person may experience because you done body shame them. All right. And understand people who, when people do you like that, guess what? Sometimes they be trying to cover up their shortcomings and things that's wrong with them. So of course they'll cast negativity on you. So be mindful. Learn also how to respect your body. It's about how you to treat it. It's about how you speak about it. It's how you protect it. Your body. Okay. So care for your health and care for your hygiene, and set boundaries around you when you touch things and you have intimacy with other things. So listening to your body when your body gives its signals. All right. So rejecting shame about natural body changes, reject that shame, because we all either going through it or we have been there before. So do not be shamed when your body begins to change and it giving off natural, producing natural odors or, different things about it. All right. So value your body, and regardless of your size, shape, or ability, you are somebody. All right. And you were created beautifully in your own way. So it's not about perfection. It's all about your dignity. It's not about, body shaming. It's all about you respecting yourself as you respect others. Now let's get into about consent. So when you have consent in your boundaries, so you ask the question, what is consent? Sometimes when you want to go on a field trip, guess what? You need your parents' what? Consent. So same thing when it comes to your body. It's like means of permission. So both persons clearly agree without pressure, fear, or confusion. Consent is clear, freely given, respectful, is reversible. It's when you decided to say yes. All right. That is a consent. What message is it sending if you saying yes with your body, but then you saying no with your mouth? And then, so what are you giving off? You come around looking lickalicious on your date, and therefore you being a tease because you teasing them, because you saying yes, here I am, and and then next thing you hollering no, no, and now you done put not only yourself in a predicament, but now you done put that person in a predicament also. So what consent is not: someone touches you without asking. That is not, that's when your consent is, I didn't give you permission. That's what you're saying. You have the right to say no, and you have the responsibility to respect someone else's no. So don't get caught up in guilt, pressure, manipulation, silence, or you owe me, kind of things. So those things, we too, by especially our, younger generation, they may not know how to stand on all 10 about their how they feel about giving their consent or not giving their consent. So how do we say confidently no? All right. You say it calm and clear, firm, without anger, in or apologetic. My no means no. A powerful no doesn't need a long explanation. It's not about comfortable. It's not about being comfortable whenever it comes to saying or being uncomfortable when you get ready to say no. So some things you can say, I'm not comfortable with that. When someone tried to peer pressure you into or manipulate you into a guilt trip you into doing things that they want to do. Uh, no, that's not for me. You could say that. No, I'm not doing that, and stand on it. Okay. So you can be short, clear, direct, not rude, just steady, without laughing nervously. No, So that means like it always go into like a form of teasing, without trailing off. No, quit. So they thinking that you're playing. So you got to know the difference. Tone communicates confidence even more than words. All right. So how to respect someone else's no? A confident no doesn't change because someone pushes back. If they insist, repeat your boundaries. Say, look, I said no. I'm not changing my mind. I need you to respect my boundaries, please. And, if they don't understand that, you already go, we about to what? Cut up in here. So repetition shows strength when you you know, stand on it and mean it. Ain't no laughter, ain't no nothing. Be solid and be boisterous, okay? How to recognize pressure, manipulation, or coercing someone into a situation. So you don't owe anyone a long story, all right? You just say, I don't want to. I'm not ready. That's not my value, because you got to value your body, value yourself as a person. You stand or you sit upright and you keep your shoulders, relaxed, and meet someone with make eye contact, and keep your voice steady. Want to do some role playing? So it help us like kind of really build up, as we get out in the real world and have confidence with. So guess what? If someone say your partner or someone else say pressures you into sending a photo if you're online. Send a photo, I need a titty photo. I need a, what kind of photo? What you gonna say? No, please stop asking, or you can block them, do all kinds of stuff, report them. You can do all of that, and don't be afraid. What if a friend pushes you to do something risky? You tell them no, I'm not discussing this anymore. I'm my answer is no. I don't have to explain. What if a partner or a group, your friend, tries to guilt trip you and say, well, everyone else is doing it, and I know you probably heard this before. You just say, no, respect my decision. Everybody else, I don't want to do that. How do you get help if you feel unsafe after you've done all of the above? What is your answer? All right. So if someone refuses to respect your no, the next step is distance. You don't have to stay in that conversation. You don't have to stay in that same place. Keep explaining. You don't have to tolerate pressure. You could just walk away. Walking away is the strength. It's not a weakness. Awareness, feeling scared, pressured, or trapped, ignoring your boundaries. Someone, if they ignore your boundaries, being touched without permission, threats, manipulation, or guilt tripping. A situation that feels just wrong. Protect yourself by leaving. Online, block them, exit, chat. You know what I'm saying? Those are easy things you could do. You don't have to keep putting yourself in that situation. You have the power. Just trust yourself, trust your spirit, your instincts. Support if you have some by telling someone. I know a lot of people, and we hear it, so many young people like Nolan Wells and other people that where their parents use 360 or they have a tracker on their phone. And sometimes we get out there and we want to turn it off because we don't want people to know where we are, our parents. But if you do that and something happened to you, they can't find you. So it's a good thing. So don't be trying to quick to be turning off that they can't find your location, because it helps you in case of emergency. And if you need emergency help, that's there to protect you. So don't be quick to turn it off if your parents have location or Life 360 on there that helps locate you if you are in a situation and you can't get out of. At least that is a form of help. So make sure, young ladies, young men, that you have this and your parents give you, and that's to help you stay safe. And getting help is strength. It's not weakness. All right. So it matters more than embarrassment. All right. Or pressured by someone else's opinion. Guess what? You are alive. You are alive. You are alive, even though, you may think it's embarrassing, but look, you could have been unalive. And your parents trying to figure out what happened to you. They know that you said you going over here, with Jane, Sue, and Sally, but here you over here with Dick, Tom, and Harry. All right. So growing up is not easy, but you don't have to do it alone. So your body is valuable. Your boundaries matter, and you deserve respect, safety, clarity. So take care of yourself. Make wise choices and know that you are worth protecting. All right. So I pray that we have said something. This is just a part two, a part one, like an introduction to, sex ed or body education for you to kind of refresh yourself, for ones you think that you're above this, and for others who may need it, that's, just coming out, trying to navigate through this world on this earth alone, as they may feel, but you're not alone. So always stay subscribed, like and share for someone who may not know or feel like they don't have anyone to talk to about these issues and these things. And you always can leave comments after this live. That way you can, it always going to send me a notification. That way I can respect and come back to you off the live if you don't feel comfortable. The other things, I do have other platforms. I'm on all platforms. So if you want to go through Messenger to get a word to me, if you want to talk or ask questions that you don't want to be live, I'm here for you. All right. So stay tuned, always, because we do have a part 2 to this sex ed, but I actually can't title that. So if it come under another title, make sure it might be body ed. That way you'll know, what we're talking about. So I pray that all is well as you go travel and navigate to and fro on this earth until we meet again. Subscribe, like, share. All right. Stay tuned for next Monday for part 2. Is it healthy or unhealthy? We're still talking about body ed. Get it? All right. And we're going to talk about much more than that. So peace and love into you. And I pray that all is well. And always, I'm going to tell you, blessings on top of blessings. Have a great, great day. Thank you.